Drew McIntyre made a mistake by staying with WWE. That is what some wrestling fans are saying after McIntyre suffered what is likely his biggest loss of his career at the hands of Damian Priest and CM Punk at Clash at the Castle in Scotland this past weekend. McIntyre unable to pick up the victory and regain his WWE World Championship has now left a hole in not only his future, but also the expectations of the fans. This was supposed to be McIntyre's big, heroic, triumphant moment. The moment that he was robbed of because of the COVID-19 pandemic at WrestleMania 36. The moment he was robbed of this past year at WrestleMania 40 when he ended up losing just minutes after regaining the World Championship. So while we understand McIntyre has gone through so much at this point, we also need to look at the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is one moment, one pay-per-view, one match will not determine whether or not Drew's decision to stay with WWE was a mistake. When you're talking about someone's re-signing being a mistake, you have to look at it in two ways: the personal and the professional. From the personal standpoint, I don't think there's a question. Drew McIntyre made the right decision. At this time, he is a made guy, multiple-time world champion, former Royal Rumble winner, someone who is presented on their weekly show as one of their main stars. So for WWE and Drew McIntyre, the relationship's great. He's even spoken about that. He's spoken about how WWE has been very understanding of some of the personal issues that him and his family have gone through, and that was one of the main reasons why he chose to stay with the company. He feels like he is in a good place personally and professionally in WWE. So for him, the decision was easy. And when you factor in him getting paid a lot of money, being a veteran guy, and being able to more so dictate his schedule than he was before, it's a no-brainer from a personal standpoint that McIntyre made the right decision. Now, if you go and look at it from more of a professional standpoint, you could make the argument that him losing in Scotland was a mistake. This was supposed to be his triumphant moment in front of his hometown crowd that was begging to see this man win in front of fans. And yet that story continues of McIntyre failing time and time again to have his moment in front of fans. And whether or not you agree with the decision, the truth is there was a moment that was robbed from all of us at Clash at the Castle. We could have seen this moment that WWE has been building up for years at this point, and we could have seen it happen in a place that meant so much to Drew, yet they decided to go in a different way. Now, I would argue that the way they went about this was the perfect way to do so if you were going to have Drew lose. Because in this moment, you're not only just helping Drew gain more sympathy, go through more adversity on his way to eventually having his moment, but you're also making this feud with CM Punk, something that has been a bit of Drew just trolling online, something that has been a bit of just almost playful banter at this point outside of Punk costing Drew the belt at Mania 40. You've made this not only personal, but you have made Drew McIntyre go into a position where he doesn't care about the title anymore. Drew doesn't care about accolades. He doesn't care about accomplishments. All he cares about at this moment is beating the ever-living crap out of CM Punk. And with that, you have Drew McIntyre with the fan sympathies and CM Punk, who just pulled off an all-time level heel move on the biggest stage for the biggest Scottish star in the company's history. He went out there in front of 11,000 strong and cost their guy the world championship, screwed him. I believe Wade Barrett even said that this was a bigger screw job than the Montreal screw job, which maybe take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. However, you get what I'm saying. This was the perfect way to present Punk as a heel and get people on Drew's side to have him be the babyface, so that when he eventually does have his big moment, he will be a babyface. And if that's the direction they're going, and that's how they're choosing to tell this story, then I think that it might be worth it. As far as whether or not McIntyre's run is a mistake from a professional standpoint, it is way too early to tell. Could it be? Of course, but I guess we'll see.